Do you know who they raided in Omaha? What kind of facilities they raided to round up all these brown people? Food packing plants, meat packing, processing facilities, food preparation facilities. It was all food preparation that go to our grocery stores. So, let me just say to you, you better prep, because it's going to take a while for these facilities to get back up and running when all of their workers have been taken away. Do you know that Nebraska and Iowa have the largest food packing facilities? And they just rounded up all their workers. So yeah, food shortages are on the way because of lack of workers.
All right, Nebraska, this one's for you. See, what you did was, you voted for a man on lies. Now, that same man, we already know, he don't like to pay for his bills. They told you that over and over. You got cities that he still owe money to. You got places that have shut him down because of the way that he didn't pay his bill. There's places that he can't go back to because of the way he didn't pay his bills. And when you signed that piece of paperwork, that contract with Joe Biden, he was a man of his word. But then you elected 70% of you farmers elected to put the man in who does not keep his word, instead of actually dealing with half of the administration that was running, again, who not only gave you those contracts, but are known to keep their word. So while you were out voting against the people who work for you, that are undocumented, that you feel are living off the government and getting welfare, you too found out that you were part of the welfare queen section. Because if it wasn't for the federal government bailing you out and giving you extra stuff to improve what you have, because you must have forgot the federal government was making money off of you. USAID, yeah, you made some money off of it, but the government did too. So righteously, they're just giving you a piece of what you have already contributed to the country. Again, you found out you were just as much of a welfare queen as the undocumented people that you had working for you. Now that they're not coming to work and the work's not being done, and some of you got loans out there that need to be paid. How about this? How about you do like your man, and don't pay the bill. See what happens. Well, that's what you asked for. So what do you want us to do about it? There's nothing we can do about it. Good luck.
I have a question for the Nebraska farmers. And this is a serious question. So if anybody that reaches this and, is a Nebraska farmer or knows a Nebraska farmer, I'm hoping that you can help me with this. So when you all went to the polls, and what was it, 60% of Nebraska voted for Trump? 60% voted for Trump, even though his campaign was primarily about deporting illegals. And you knew that your farms and your crops were picked by illegals. What did you think was going to happen? Like, genuine question. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I'm curious. But what did you think was going to happen? Because if you have so many people working your farm, and you know that you don't have the proper documentation, did you think that they was going to stick around? I guess this is where my curiosity comes in. What did you think was going to happen? Because the math isn't mathing for me. I'm just saying, the math is not mathing for me. Help me out. Help me understand. What was the game plan? Because it seems like what y'all thought was going to happen was, I don't know, y'all was going to get some prisoners to work the fields. Y'all was going to get, I don't know, us to work the fields. Y'all, who did y'all think was going to get to do it? Like, what did y'all think was going to happen? And then, from what I understand, they've also frozen your funds. So I'm just curious, what did y'all think was going to happen? How did y'all think that was going to go when, again, he ran his entire platform on getting rid of illegals? All of them. What y'all think was going to happen? Tell me out.
So for those of y'all who've been keeping up with recent events as it relates to the farmers, right? We talked about Nebraska, and then we talked about Iowa, and all of these farmers, are losing their minds because they're losing their farms, and, they're scared. Well, let me tell y'all what I heard today. So the lobbyist groups for the farmers are proposing another bailout of $16 billion. The last time syphilitic Sid did this in his first administration, they received a whopping $24 billion in bailouts. Well, this time around, syphilitic Sid said he doesn't know if he can do that. He's not sure that that's something that they can accommodate. Look, I love the farmers. The farmers are wonderful. They farm, right? They farm. But, we're trying to cut fraud and waste and a lot of unnecessary spending. So now these people and their lobbyists are trying to get bailouts. But what I want to understand is, what happened to you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps? What happened to we voted for him because he's a great businessman? What happened to we're going to put our trust in him because he's going to help us? Help y'all do what exactly? Lose your farms? Yes, that part. Because you know who invests in these companies that buy up bankrupted farms? Your vice president. So, to all you farmers that voted for this, thinking it was going to be like the last time and he was going to give y'all a bailout and y'all would get those subsidies to support yourselves and your farms and your families, it's not coming. Not this time around. It's not coming. You can just forget it. So, I wish you well. I hope it works out for you. Maybe somebody can whisper in his ear and change his mind. You might want to reach out to Ivanka because she's his favorite and he listens to her, I guess. But they're not really speaking, ever since the insurrection. But I don't know. This is just word on the street. It's just gossip. But you didn't hear it from me. But, good luck.
All right, folks, welcome back. Now, it is very difficult to understand right now what happened in the Nebraska and other parts, mostly where there is farmers, where it's farming parts, where these parts are based on the farming, their economy is based on the farming. But when it comes specifically to Nebraska, it was totally very hard to understand because listen, these people, they depend on the immigrants. The agriculture sector heavily relies on immigrants' labor, with a significant percentage of farm workers being undocumented. So they depend on the immigrants. And then they voted to deport immigrants. Now imagine someone who depends on immigrants and all the workers there, most of them, they're undocumented immigrants because, that's where they get jobs. That's where they get, these are small money because they pay them pennies. So it means people who were working in Nebraska, they were illegal immigrants. So the Nebraska farmers, they already knew that these people work together. They are undocumented immigrants. So they went ahead and voted to deport immigrants, which results in deporting immigrants. And right now they don't have workers. Right now there's no workers. There's no anyone to pick the crops in their farms. There's no people to come and work on their farms. Now, these people, they cannot work in their farms because they cannot be able to do it. It's a hard work they cannot be able to do. That's why they were hiring immigrants. But right now, there's no immigrants. There is no people to work in those farms. So how are they going to do it? It comes to a point of regret. They are regretting of doing that. It's a clear picture, it's a clear image to each and everybody that these people, they are regretting voting, deporting immigrants. There is various freeze programs, including the crop insurance, disaster relief, and farm loans, compounded economic difficulties. Many farmers, even those who traditionally opposed, the administration intervention, found themselves struggling without the safety and without safety nets they had come to rely on. Farmers who had signed contracts for renewable energy system, for example, expecting government assistance, found themselves on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars they hadn't anticipated paying. The government were supporting them. The government were, giving. It's not all of them, but some, okay? But right now, the government have cut and freeze the programs. So now, those farmers, they used to have that programs. You remember what happened before. This same thing, same situation, same scenario happened back in the days. And the administration have, support them. The administration saved them from bankruptcy. The administration saved the farm industry. But again, in 2025, the same farmers, they did it again. They did it again. They lose the government support. They lose the farm workers. Still, they did it again, man. It is very hard to understand this because imagine you've been bankrupt in a few years, but the government but the administration just, saved you again. You did the same mistake. So right now you want them to come back and save you again? That is what happened to Nebraska farmers. It is a lesson to learn because these people, they don't care about their farms. So there is a breakdown within Nebraska farmers. There are many, many things, from the tariffs, from many things, because some even lost the market. So imagine if you're a farmer, you don't have workers to work in your farms, the government have cut the funds, you don't have a market of your crops. So it is going to be hard for them, which comes to breakdown, and the emotional breakdown and the emotional and financial fallout, because they are not going to be stable if the government doesn't help you with the crops insurance, which they depend on. So they feel a sense of betrayal within them. They feel a sense that the guy have betrayed. Many feel that their loyalty and votes for DT were not reciprocated. They believed he would prioritize their well-being, but instead, his policies seem to directly harm their livelihoods. This can lead to a deep sense of disappointment and even anger within the MAGA farmers. Let me call them the MAGA farmers from Nebraska. Okay, and then they face also the financial ruin for a family farms that operates on the margin. The combined impact of lost market, increased cost, reducing government support can be catastrophic. Farmers have reported significant losses, the inability to cover expenses, and the threat of losing their farms, a legacy often passed down through generations. That is what the farmers are facing right now. These are very important people on the society. These are very important people in each and every society. But what they did is like hating them and voting against their own interest, which is affecting them right now, which make many people to not have sympathy for them. Because they are important people. Anyone can have sympathy for these farmers. But as we speak, many people doesn't have sympathy. I've seen a video where some people were just discussing that even these farmers, when they are given chance again, they should vote against their own interest. So I always ask myself and try to understand these farmers. But I don't know. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about these farmers? Because it's very, very difficult to understand. It's been 2 times in the same situation. Actually, yes, in different years, it's been like a few years back, but it's 2 same scenario that happened to them. And right now, they're just feeling the same consequences. There was about the bankruptcy in the farming industry. As we speak, the farmers, they're approaching that situation. So it's been like a public acknowledgement and regret. Some diehard supporters may remain steadfast, and as reports indicate, growing number of farmers, including those who previously identified as DT supporters, openly expressing regret. This public admission for people who are often feels independent and proud can be difficult and emotional experience on their side. So they express their regrets as what we did is something very bad. It's affected us in big number. It affected us and our families. So that is what's happening to these farmers. Tell me in the comment section what you think about these farmers, mostly in Nebraska. Nebraska is a state of farmers, and they are very important in the country. They do a great job, but they are facing, their bad nightmares. What is happening to them is so, it's very hard to explain. But let's discuss. But let's keep our conversation in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I am your presenter, Fikazo.